We are the Femmes into Play, a name that we chose because we're all double feminine, INTP, consume play blast, so lots of play, and because a lot of our type twins are femmes into play. Professionally, if you know what I mean. We are getting together to record ourselves because each of us is one of the different socials. And when we figured that out, we thought it would be really neat to share all that we're discovering with the community about how we're the same because of our type, but because of also how we're different because of our socials. So I am Julie, and I am the 4.
I'm Sasha, and I'm number 3.
I'm Melanie. I'm a alleged number 2.
Right.
In theory is all.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And I'm Magda, and I am 1, probably.
I really feel like we've pinging off of each other. It's like, we got it. But that is our masculine NE right there, folks. we're like
never settle on nothing.
Right, exactly. Masculine TI, this is right, but oh crap, we got so much masculine NE that we just can never 100% say anything. It's true.
That's true. Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna get to. Sorry?
I'm allegedly Melanie.
So true. So we're gonna get together weekly and kind of discuss this week's video, which is J Park, but we're also gonna be allowing ourselves to spring off of there into whatever general thoughts we have for the week. But starting with J Park, the major thing that I noticed as a 4 was when there was a 4 on camera with J Park, and I was driving, so I don't remember what J Park was doing. But they pointed out that the 4s always have to go with them, but in like a goofy way. So I've been noticing myself doing that, and it's like if other people are like, yeah, I'm like, yeah. Just like, oh, for silliness. Thank you, J Park. But do you guys remember what the sign was? Did you watch the video?
Yeah, like with the goofy rappers in the back. Definitely. I don't remember that. I just saw them like, yeah, like,
yeah, is that, I'm curious, is that like, since all 3 of you have more flex than me, do you guys ever kind of do like a physical flex like that? We're INTPs.
As a joke, I do it as a joke. I see like a social norm kind of thing where people take things like that too seriously. I feel like to do it in like a satire, but not ever for real with me. I mean, I don't know if that's us kind of disrespecting the SF, but
That's true, right? He's an SF. He's consume play blast double feminine like us. But yeah, the SEFI lead is a whole different world.
It is.
Yeah.
Totally different type of consume. Yeah.
Yes. All right.
What do you think, Magda?
Yeah. Well, I was when I was typing J Park, I noticed that he is very informative and cool at the same time. So I was envy, and I didn't know like what are you doing? You can still like provide the information, but be like cool bro with others, and maintain that balance. And I didn't know what it's all about. And I think I noticed his flex, like maybe not bragging, because I don't see him bragging that much. His flex didn't throw me. And I also noticed that he was quality driven. So like when he started to produce his soju with his during promoting his his music. He wanted to provide the best quality soju that should be, and not what is most popular. So I thought that that's cool to approach this topic this way. So I didn't see him bragging. So when Shan said that he donated like 60K for fire in Australia, it was like 60K. Right? This is the bragging, but for me it wasn't the bragging. It was like information that like how much amount of money I'm earning because I am running 2 labels I can spend. And if I was in industrial, or I would be, I would know this area, I would could assess, is this a lot or a little? So this is still information that can be valid, like in terms of giving me more background, how this helping look like for the industry that is giving money to help others. So this is like very valid information, not bragging. But it can be looked like bragging. It's a flex. Okay, I see it's a flex, but it's not a bragging, because bragging is when you will say that you will come to Australia to help them by showing them 8-pack. This is not, this is something that will not help in any like tangible way. But it is a way, but I don't like it because it's not creating, like it's not building nothing tangible. It's like bragging, So yeah, so this is how I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Because I know there was that part to it, but I think part of it too, at least that I noticed as a 4, because that was actually something else that really stuck out to me, is like, so 1s and 4s, it's like, right, you and I have noticed how much we're like similar, but it's like in these, opposite ways, because we're both kind of imbalanced, but we both are doing both to some degree. But 2, what she said was like, flexers, when they give, will tend to give a lot, right? Like 4s, yes. It's like we're constantly like, yeah, you can have that. You need a shirt? Like, I have a shirt right here. Like, that's like the 4 thing. Like, and I totally have this. We're kind of almost actually unaware of our things, because it's like all the things are for all of us. I guess that is kind of a very play thing, but it's like I had to learn in like adulthood to not just ask someone to borrow something, right? Because it's like, but I'm like, but you can have all my things and I can have all your things. It's like, no, there's boundaries. So it's like a 4 wouldn't even build up to give like that, but it's like as a flex, it's like, well, I'm not giving every day, but then when I do give, it's a huge thing. And I know she also said it's a flex, but I think too, it's like, it's also like, therefore, when it comes out, it's big, like in a good way. Like, I feel like that was a positive thing for, like, what do you think about that?
I totally, did we just skip on the number direction? That's my fault.
You did it. I was like,
my DNFE, like, literally just I've not been like not thinking of that. Like, I'm like, oh wait, our number order, I just skipped that right up.
No, that was good. I mean, our number 1 probably has the most to say about the number 1 video.
Well, so exactly, yeah.
But anyway.
But yeah, well, I like to talk, and I like to talk a lot, but I want to give you space as well, because you can have your own way to see how Jay was like flexing, how he was, how you experience him during watching the class. or you are also typing like me, so you can also have some your own insight what you get from him, because I can talk a lot.
Oh yeah.
But flexing to you, Magda, means like he would be like, yo, here's my abs. Like,
this is bragging, and this is what I just don't like. If I can, yeah, it's because this is not building anything. Like, I'm not sure if this is maybe infodomness, that I don't want to be goofy with my flex. I want to like provide some serious solutions that I know that are like the best one, and I will try to get to my point, whatever, however I have whatever I need to do. So but I don't. So I noticed that people are bragging and are showing things that doesn't really do anything. They are showing off. They are just presenting something like awesome, for example, but are not really doing anything. So they are not building. They are just useless, and I don't like useless things. So yeah, bragging for me is just being showing useless things,
Like,
and I don't like it.
That's
like,
go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry, no, I just was gonna ask if you think that's like a gamma, like the ESFP gamma flex, like kind of more bragging, or like that's separate from flex in your mind?
I would link that this bragging is more popular, maybe for the gammas, but Jay Park, who is gamma, wasn't bragging, at least not for me. So he was saying about his 8-pack, and but it was always mentioned in the conversation when it was pointed to him. So he wasn't bringing that out because he wanted to, but because the topic of the conversation was about that. So he was still like flexing in informative way, and I like it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sasha, you had something you were gonna say?
Right. So the flexing, SF flexing, I was thinking about when I value the SF, and say for example, when he does give, donate all the money to help things. I was just actually thinking about when it's useful, when something is useful. You can do SF health. I was actually talking about health a lot. When I was younger, I ate all this junk food, but now I don't because, I want to be healthy, because not only does he want to look a certain way, but it's also healthy, and this affects, this and this. So it kind of ties into the NT a little bit. But, there was at one point where one of the interviewers was asking him, oh, hey, I love your style. How do you decide what to wear? And Jay was like, well, it's whatever they send me, is what I'm wearing. So, he's like kind of like a walking product placement. Mm-hmm. And that kind of is like, I'm like, oh, yuck. That's kind of when I just kind of like, so awful. Yeah, I feel like the SF, we can do, it can be really useful. It can be used as a tool, to get things done in so many different ways, but it can also be incredibly unhealthy. And I think for the most part, Jay seemed like he was more of a healthy one. I think even though Shan said she noticed he was going to maybe crash at some point coming up, but yeah, that's all.
But then
as every sleep last will crash.
Yeah,
at some point. Yeah,
it's going too far. Yeah, he needed to rest.
Yeah, I think Dave did. Like, I couldn't quite tell, like, the censor on this, but it seemed like Dave said that then he looked, and he was like, yeah, but I looked, and a year later he didn't crash. But I'm not sure if Dave was being sarcastic or if he was... Yeah, you just watched it, like, recently, Melanie. Did he say that?
Yeah, I watched it yesterday, but he did say that. I think it was like just really like, oh, he hasn't yet, but no, we don't really have the information. Like, it's kind of like missing info. Like, it doesn't seem like he crashed yet.
Yeah.
Right.
But he lost his labels. I think he's not CEO of his labels.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
So something happened.
Dang.
But I didn't track it. Yeah. So something happened. Yeah, for sure.
I guess we didn't really check.
How old is he?
I did look that up. He's 36. I did look it up.
Oh. Wow, he's older than I thought. Okay.
Yeah, because he does look young. So I was like, wait, is he pulling like one of those like where he's giving 25, but he's really middle aged?
Yeah.
And he's a fair 36 years old. So.
Okay. Yep. Same age as me. As me at the end of the month. Okay.
He's older. He's older than me.
Slightly.
Oh my.
Really, and I wouldn't tell. I wouldn't give him that much.
It doesn't seem like it, really, does it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, well. He's our cool guy. I don't know. I feel like I should have maybe watched a few more videos on my own of him or something. Maybe next time I will. But he was that me? I'm sorry if that was me.
No, that was
they did say that he was humbled and that's part of what made him stronger. They said that, right? He went to Korea, he formed a boy band, and he was humbled. And so that's part of perhaps what lies in his strength. And that was something else I was thinking about hopping off of on this with you guys, but this was one I kind of wanted to throw out there. Like, I feel like I've been humbled a lot in my life, and I was curious if, like, how often you're humbled could be related to where flex is in your stack, because I even have, like, a personal phrase I like to say to people when people say, oh, you're smart. And I usually say, like, I'm humbled by my own ignorance every day. That's kind of my response. Yeah.
I like that.
Oh, thank you. I feel processing it now is like knowing I'm a 4. I'm like, am I just being like a little like, oh, like little 4 down there saying it? But I'm curious, like, how much you guys like, how much humbling is a part of your experience, and how that might relate to where flex is in our stack. Whoever wants to go first, I can call out a name, or you can just ping.
Wait, will you repeat that again? You know, we're feminine sensory. The words just escaped.
The humbling, like my question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the question?
How much is, like, humbling a part of your experience? Kind of like, how often do you find yourself humbled? Like, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly? Do you, like, once in 2018, you know, like, how often are you humbled?
I feel like daily for me.
Okay.
I feel like, you know, with flex second, okay, and especially, you know, being an IP, I feel like what I'm giving, and I'm constantly giving what I consider to be very quality, my best, and I'm always you would think I would learn, but no, and I have learned, but that people aren't going to be just always appreciative and amazed at everything that I give them. And so after a long kind of process of, hey, you know, it's not all about you, it's about just focus on the, you know, everyone else, humble yourself, because there's no way that I think I'm the best one, but I feel like at all, I don't want to say that at all and give that impression, but I feel like when I offer something, you know, that I'm called upon to do, or if I offer a suggestion or something like that to the group, and then I carry it forth, that I feel I just kind of feel like automatically they should be like, oh, that's so great, and it's like so stupid. But really, so I've gotten to the point where now that if I'm not expecting it, I force myself to not expect it. And so when it does happen, it's just so wonderful, because I think, I mean, for me, being a 3, and I don't know about you guys, because I know that the running theory is that the 4s and 3s like positive reinforcement, and maybe the 1s and 2s thrive on like, oh, you can't do this, and then you're like going to prove them wrong or whatever. I have a little bit of like that too. Like one day, this guy told me that I shouldn't go to college because I kept, and I'm like, oh yeah, you know. So I did. And so yeah, that was basically it. I by the way, I do feel like being humble, admitting your own ignorance is something that the smartest people do, is from what I noticed. So
yeah, appreciate that. Yeah. Oh yeah, nothing worse than someone who thinks they're a genius, right? And it's just
well, and that's, you know, and you, if somebody's walking around and they may have the, you know, the ST proof that they're a genius because, you know, they've passed all these tests or they've accomplished this and this and this, but they're still missing a bunch of stuff, you know, and for them to not admit that, or whatever, even within their own field, if they don't see, you can't see everything. And so for them not to admit their own foibles is kind of a huge, you know, way of being stupid.
No, I totally feel you on that.
Yeah, yes. That's my opinion.
Yes.
And like, agreed. I think it's with like what Sasha's saying, like it, for me, like sometimes I'll be like pushing on like my like TI or whatever, because I feel like our type, like the TINE, like is trying to be objective. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, TIs, it's like their truth or like their like logic chain or whatever. But I feel like we're really like looking at things as objectively as possible. At least that's my TI understanding. So maybe it's like, maybe I'm wrong about that, but I feel like when I do push and I'm like, but I am right. Like, and then other people are just like, yeah, no, you're not, like, get out of my face or whatever. I'm humbled in this way of like, not that good, like back off. I feel like I'm like, but what? Because it's the truth. Things like it's the truth. So yeah, I like eat shit sometimes when it comes to like pushing on like this, my principles or whatever. And I mean, I just said it right there. It's like my principles, but I like assume it's for everyone.
Right.
It's like, I don't know if our type has that where we're like, no, this is the objective truth, when it may not encompass everything or whatever. If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I relate to that. Like, because we see the spectrum of possibilities and we just choose the best one because we, you know, we did the math and it was quick and we know and we are sure that this is like deeply true, maybe not objectively, but taking our own reasoning, it's like the best solution and there is no other way. Like, I relate a lot. Yeah.
But
I was humbled.
Oh, sorry. I just feel like there's still something to it. I just have to put that in a pin in it in my own like life processing. But anyway, what were you saying?
I was humbled. I'm not humbled that often, like once in a while, most probably. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't want to like live in a lie that daily. Yes, of course not. I'm not. I know that it's not true. I wish, but I'm not. No. And during my life, I noticed that being humbled is actually that every time I'm pushing my own view, I should add that maybe it works only for me and not for you. because there are TEs in life and they are like operating in a very different T way, and I don't get them why they are doing things that way and not the TI way. So okay, so for them and for others, I just put my disclaimer that okay, this is my way. I know I'm right, and if you want, yeah, yeah. Again, I won't lie about that. When I know that, then I know. So it's obvious. So when I'm trying to push my own ideas, I try to give those disclaimers that okay, maybe I'm a little pushy because I was thinking about that very long, and I know I'm right, but maybe you need some time. Like okay, you can go back to that later or something, or like we can like I try to soften my push a little because it's needed, and I often forget about it because I'm already on my side, like on my way to do my solution. So I forget that I need to bring people along with me, and this is like, but like come on, it's like my process is already running, so come on with me. Why I need to persuade ask you to go with me? You just should go with me. It's like that obvious. So yeah, I'm humbled by those situation when I had to like put aside my the sleep last drive to do everything at once because I have that power and I want to do it. Like I have a lot of energy to spend. So I was humbled that I cannot do my way and need to talk with people to have this discussion why we should go with my way. So that's why I prefer to go with disclaimers and some kind of FE that I see you, at least I try, but let's talk, and I may be wrong because I may be wrong. Our SI is feminine and the weakest, so we can lack of the sensory proof to our ideas. So we should be humbled a little bit. At least I should be humbled a little bit more sometimes, and I try, but it's like something I learned, and I don't notice it like daily, like more like from time to time when I will like face the wall and oh my god, this is so there where my SI was missing. Oh my god, like okay, so I will refine my solution and I will go back, but the bed is already done. So
but we could find the SI solution. It's just like it's like we're made out of like Jello or something, and it's so frustrating because we have like really like sharp minds. Like not to be like like patting ourselves on the back, whatever, but like we're quick and like I don't know, like that's just my experience. Like whatever, I could be like, but and then when it comes to like, it's like no, we have the sensory. It's just like we're like behind we're like swimming in Jello or something. Like it's just like we can't just get the sensory. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's frustrating, but I'm sure you could find the sensory, but it's hard.
It would be nice if we had an assistant that would just provide the sensory. Maybe we could get an AI assistant.
Yes. I love it. Like I'm excited for it. I don't feel like it's gonna take over. I feel like it's gonna be helpful. The AI, like we'll be besties with robots. Like that's great.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna be here, so it's more like we just gotta prepare for it, right? It's like you're not gonna stop it from happening. You just can't.
We'll adapt.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the beauty of deciders, I feel like, or at least like OE deciders. Like we're just like, it's gonna happen. Like we'll prepare. We'll evolve. Like we'll make it.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true. I have to say though, actually, you said something interesting. I've always thought of myself as kind of a slow thinker. Like I think I'm fairly quick in conversation, but I've always felt like I take quite a long time. Like especially like when other people are presenting me with new ideas, I'll be like, I have to go take a nap and then I'll get back to you. But like perhaps too, I am like double sleep last, so maybe it's like I really just have to like go take a nap before, like I am like the queen of like I get it later.
It does sound like sleep last. Like that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Like, what are you listening to?
But with my sleep last, I'm like rushing with my solutions. Like, okay, someone is disagreeing with me with some arguments, then I like, okay, so I can fight you with this way. This didn't help, then okay, so this way. So I will always find a way to fight to protect my own ideas. So I am really fast in that, arguments.
But flex is kind of sleep, right? So it's like maybe you are accessing that socially more, and I'm just like, I can't access the sleep socially as well. Like, I just double play.
Maybe it depends on what stage you are in the knowledge of the thing that you're talking about. Because if you're just introduced to something and you want to find out more information about it, and the deeper down you go, the quicker we are to say bam, 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 bam. Or even if we know about things that are related to it, or similar.
Yes.
But, if we're being presented with something completely brand new, I always like to tell people it's going to take me a little bit longer for me to find out as much as I can about this. But once I do, I'm going to know it better than anybody here. And what's funny is that I said that before I was ever typed, and I kept telling people that. And again, I had TI, whatever, duh. But yeah, no, I think that that's understandable. But I think, and I think it is where we are in whatever area of knowledge, is how fast we process things. But I also think that any definitely helps us immediately kind of like glom on to what at least people are talking about. So that it can sink into our TI.
And okay, so pinging off of that, here's like another theory for maybe part of it too, because maybe as well, so like friends is play, and then I have, what do I have second? Specialize, blast. So it's like both of those are FE things. And so yeah, maybe it is like this. So right, this actually ties back to what I was going to close with, which was before we all got on screen, we talked a little bit about how our FE can take time to process. So I had some things hit my FE on Friday, did not realize they hit my FE on Friday. This morning I was bawling. So we came back to that. And so I'll get to that now here in a moment, but it's like maybe too that's what's going on here. It's hitting my FE somehow. It's all in the FE. And then it just is taking time because it's the demon, I guess. Maybe instead, maybe somehow it's both, but maybe it is just like my FE just creates walls or whatever. Did you guys ever watch, so this was back, I know I was like the first one typed here, How to ADHD. Did you guys see her? Okay.
It sounds familiar, but...
Yeah, sounds familiar.
That was like back in 2018 she was typed. She's ESFJ, but she's blast play.
I do remember.
Blast play consume, double feminine like us. When I typed her as an ENTP. Like every time I watched her videos, I was like, she's me. Not exactly me, but almost like me. So I only flipped one little coin. I was like, I think she's an ENTP, but it was like two, I guess, because leading blast, but blast play consume. But she used to talk about like hitting these walls. And my husband and I call them walls of FE. Like we still call them, I forget what she called them. She called them walls of something else. And my husband and I watched her and we're like, walls of FE. And it's like, I will just hit them and they're like these weird blockades to moving forward. And I have to process my emotions until I can like move forward on it at all. And maybe that's just socially how I take every thing
It
in too.
sounds, yeah, like it sounds so, what's the word? I don't know. That sounds about right. Like,
Yeah.
it's all nothing tangible. It's all like stuff in our mind anyway, but it's like sounds like that's definitely what's happening, especially if you could relate to the ESFJ, because there are functions, but like, you know, just backwards or whatever, right? Backwards, who knows? But that makes sense.
Cool. All right. Sleep on that later. Okay, did anybody else want to ping on that, or should I go ahead and tell my little story here?
No, just like
Yeah.
it'll be with feelings, it'll be like I'll be crying so much, but won't even know what is wrong. Like I don't know. It's like disembodied feelings, or I don't know if that's the right phrase or word, but it's just like I don't know why I'm so upset, but I am. So I don't know what this is. This feelings, very odd. But in general, it happens a lot. So can relate.
Or you blame something else. Do you ever blame something else? I've blamed like a beach towel before. I was like, I don't have the beach towel I want. I can't do anything. I was like, that was a bad one.
As long as you're not blaming other people, I hate when I do that.
That's true. Okay.
That's the worst. That's the worst. Try not to.
I've gotten so many arguments with my partner, and then it'll be like when you're like in the middle of the argument and you realize you're the one who was wrong.
Yeah.
And then you're just like,
wait, this is why. Yeah.
So I've definitely done that. So I can grow from these experiences. I try to not do it. But I've definitely been like, oh, that is me. Yep.
The more I work on them, the shorter they get in time, right? So it's like, it'll never not happen, but more and more of them, depending on how big they are, right? The time between me realizing what's going on and stopping is shorter. Like, I've started to learn, like, wait, I'm sitting here on my couch completely stuck. Okay. Let's try to, like, look through my emotions. Like, with my TI is like, wait.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
How about you, Magda? What do you think?
I was thinking that you said about the FE wall and that you had to go to sleep, actually, to sleep what has happened. So I was thinking if those walls are actually this social for you, with having activated FE more than us, maybe those walls are more in solid, and you have to go to sleep, because I'm operating in my stress field. Like, I'm constantly stressed. I don't face any walls. I will just move them and go further, and I will be pissed, but I will work. So I don't have those walls.
Very one.
So
this is a lot of social. It sounds like the social types are really like at play.
Yeah. So you are forced to go to sleep while I'm not sleeping. I'm in my delusional, sleep world in which I am operating. Like,
It's interesting.
Does FE show up for you later? Yeah. Magda, does FE like kind of sneak up on you later, or does it?
I think so it's tricky because I have double activated FE, so I think that I'm scanning FE all the time. So I am aware of that, but I'm not doing with that anything if I don't want to.
Got it. You're just aware of it. Yep. Relatable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I see you seeing me, like, I get it, but I'm gonna do my thing.
Yes. So my goals are have more priority right now. So I cannot babysit you right now because I need to like finish something else. So I know it's bad vibes, but sorry, I need to like,
Doing my thing, barreling through. Cool.
It was, I think, one of the solutions for the wall of FE was the wall of whatever they called it, was actually to visualize it and then walk around it. So it's
Nice.
interesting that that's exactly what you said. You're like, I see the wall and I just go around it. So maybe it somehow it is like channel that energy. Like, yeah.
But I think that I should stop and think and, you know, make my sleep, which I'm not doing actually, while you are forced to do it because you have those walls. So I think that's what you have is more good, like healthier, while I need to be forced. I need to crash to do my
There should be a balance, I think. It depends depending on the situation.
Yeah.
Yes. Balance in all things. Yeah, so okay, I can share what my shall I share? Okay.
Yes.
So I had a crash this morning because I have not been watching the videos for a while. I got more active on Facebook, and then I kind of got pulled back into the OP community, and then socials came up, and then I was like, this is really cool. Got really active into the community. Sasha brought us all together. So anyway, I've just started consuming objective personality again, more and more. And so I finally went on Friday to watch Shan's video on fours, and oof, that was hard. And being Effie last, it's like, it's weird too, because it's like, I kind of expected masculine N for it to be upsetting or whatever, but I think it's just so hard to hear a lot of those things, that it just didn't hit me until 2 days later. But that's often, as we said, what it is. But as a 4, like, looking back on my life, I mean, she said so many things. Like, she said people often go to jail for their friends. Like, I'm not even kidding. In high school, I did this all the time. My friend, like, had a bottle of vodka in her purse, and we were about to go through this line, and I was like, here, I'll put it in my purse. You know, it's like, I'll take the fall, you know? Yeah. And yeah, friends hide too, right? And part of it is because, like, I had more of a feeling that I could get away with it, but it is still like, I'm still taking on that consequence. And that was not the last time I did that. Like, all these times, like, there was this time my friends were stealing all this makeup, and I was like, I'll take the fall, you two get out. And, like, I can talk myself out of it, and that's why I said that. But it's like, no, as friends, it's like I was totally willing to just be the fall guy for some reason. Thank goodness, like, you know, Shan mentioned, you know, people helping other people move dead bodies. I mean, I think as a lead masculine TI or whatever, or certain life experiences, I would not do that, thankfully, but just I would not do that. But it's like, I did almost get sucked into a cult, but again, I think my, like, INTP-ness, like, brought me out of that, because, like, I left and I was like, something's off. And I think it was like 2 days later, I was like, think that's a cult. I think I should never go back there. How did I get sucked in there in the first place, though, right? As a 4. And it's like, I've had people steal my work from me, and instead of doing anything about it, I just go, and, like, kind of run away. And just processing all of this, and like, I have work I'm working on now, and that is my greatest fear, that I will just let this get stolen and just kind of, like, crumble and or not fight enough for my work to be out there. And now with the 4ness too, seeing how much I rely on social interaction to do things, like, it's weird because it's like I've been using my husband and my son to kind of do this, and we had talked about this a little bit in our chat a couple weeks ago, but, like, it's like I have to feel like I'm doing it for them. It's like, and to some degree you're always doing it for them, but it's like I have to go constantly to my husband and be like, but I should be doing this, right? It's like, you want me to do this, you want me to, like, get what I'm building, it's a narrative structure thing that I want to make a YouTube for, and I'm like, you want me to do this, right? You want me to go put it on YouTube. And when I feel like he doesn't, it's like I just take time away from that instead to, like, work on our family. And our family is really important too, but it's like I'm just always moving in these from people like in the wind, like I had some research stolen from me in grad school, and that's like a whole story unto itself, and ran away. And because like, although I have to say, a lot of the people who did not run away from my incredibly abusive boss are like incredibly alcoholic, so we've each had our own she was a piece of work. So in some ways maybe running away was right, I don't know, whatever. But in any case, the only reason I actually even sorry,
I said sometimes it is, for sure.
Yeah, it's
running is okay, for sure. Yeah,
as you said earlier, balance in all things, right? It's like you really want to be able to balance that. And then the only reason I actually went back and got my thesis was because I went to a wedding and ran into someone, and he was like, "This is ridiculous. I will fight for you." And I was like, "Okay, thank you." Like swept back in by a person. And it's like weird because I am a masculine consume, N-E, like Tine. So I do have what feels like this great inner drive. But part of what I'm processing too is, Dave said it in the one video I watched too, where he was comparing himself to Casey Neistat, like, watch yourself when you're not watching yourself. You know, like how kind of like lazy am I? How much am I actually not working because I'm getting swept, or even waiting to be swept? Like, as I've been processing it, I'm like, I do just love being pulled out by people. Like, Parker will always be like, "Stop it, you can't go do that thing." And I'm like, "But they need me."
Wow, I get that.
Yeah. So I was just, so anyway, that's my unslept rant on it this morning. But this morning I was messaging the girls and being like, having to cry it out right now, which is good to have before the video. But definitely hard to start to see yourself by all these things. And I mean, I remember, I don't know if Dave still says stuff like this, but I remember he used to say, like, if you kind of hate yourself, then you know you're right. Right? Like, nobody's like, "Yeah, I'm a 4 and that's the best." Like, you kind of hate that you're a 4 a little bit.
But you just work with it, because it's like, now you know. So it's like, well, because in maybe the actual like series of the socials, or like another video, they mentioned, like, it's like when you know that, so it's like, okay, so you get your energy, like, you're with people, and then you can do the thing.
Exactly.
So it's like you can make a tool out of that. It's so, my like masculine Annie always like hijacking my mind, just like, it's like, if you had some sort of tool to like give you that feeling of like, my husband, just validated me, so now I can work on the thing. It's like, will AI help us with this? Perhaps. Like,
I'm doing it for my bot. I'm just kidding.
I mean, like, yeah, it just seems like, it's like, okay, so this is how it works. So we'll go past that. Like, we'll just like NT a way to like hijack it or whatever. Like, yes. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I need this like, I don't know if validation is the word, but like, you need the social pinging or whatever, and then you can do your thing. So it's like, maybe we could just create that artificially. Like, I don't know. That's the first thing I'm thinking of.
No,
but it's
totally.
like, knowing it is helpful.
Totally. Knowing it is helpful, yeah. Yes. Knowing whatever your brain is, what barriers your brain is putting on you, and that sometimes you can kind of cross them, knowing that they're there, just like the walls, just like the FE walls, and but then knowing that, if you're getting panicky, that's why you're outside of your comfort zone. Maybe take baby steps.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I don't think I'm too panicky, but it's just like, always trying to check that I'm not lying to myself, right? Like, yes. The idea is that like masculine TI, or like, would everyone hate that? Like, like, how much am I lying to myself? Because I thought a lot of my movement was kind of me peacocking And so like I was like, okay, so I was like trying to I already kind of was seeing some of this and was like trying to reel it in, but it is like I'm just shifting the framework, right? It's like, okay, I have to take that off, and now here's this new social framework, and put it back on and re-understand myself and the actual lies that I'm telling myself, because I wasn't totally understanding it. It's like I do go to FE or to the tribe more in some ways, even though it is also my demon. It's like, I don't know, like I thought, right? Does that, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like triple activated FE, triple activated demon FE, so it's like always there, the walls, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, it's true. And maybe, yes. So you mean like use AI like as in to remind you or to like assist
like, I just
with
feel like
that?
Yeah, like I don't know, it's just like I don't know, my mind automatically goes there. It's like, well, I need this, like I have these walls here, so I just said AI because it's the first thing that popped up, but it's like, so I'm gonna NT a way to like build a little ladder to just be like, okay, we're still doing the DI, so we're just gonna take the little ladder over the walls and continue without needing so much tribe pinging or whatever. Or I don't even know if that's a bad thing, but it's like, you know, maybe you need the tribe ping and then you do your thing.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know. I'm just thinking of like AI could be a way to be like, you know, the super chat things or whatever, like when you're talking to a robot and be like to give you the tribe ping and then you do your thing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's like that's a total other direction.
And now it rhymes. Get the tribe ping, go do your thing.
So it must be true.
Oh my god, guys, I hate to be the number two enforcer, but
yep.
Do you think we need to bring it back to our friend Jay or any other blaster points?
Nope, that's great. I was gonna say as well. Any closing comments or anything?
Wait,
else?
so how about we can practice our blast third and just be like and give our like last if we haven't done our Jay thing or whatever, right? To our boy Jay Park, we can give our blasts on his class, maybe.
What do you mean?
What do you think? Oh, I don't know. I feel like we all didn't say like what we thought of Jay. We totally just skipped our skip.
Oh no! Just went completely off. Yeah.
I mean,
that's how we do it.
That's the thing. Maybe it won't be. I mean, we always have topics with each other. Maybe that's more what we should focus on. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel like having Jay Park at least gave us some.
Oh yeah, the total
sensory,
springboard.
Yeah.
some framework, I would say, also what we can lay on, at least for a start.
Yeah.
Like a framework. Yeah.
Does anybody else have anything else to say about that class or anything?
Yeah, so the closing thoughts about the J. So I admire him for being so cool, bro, that was able to be a one and infadom. So how can he be so cool? So I think this SF being SF savior is helping a lot, like being especially feeling savior. So that is what I think would be good to work on. We are not SEFI but SIFE, but working on it would be so cool. So I think that the blast for us, let's say, would be to work on our SF blast. Yeah, to provide like good guidance, how to overcome obstacles, to have better life. You know.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was some good closing thoughts for us.
Love that.
That was.
I actually wanted to say that I thought he was a big dork. I really thought he was cringy and not cool. That's my DI. Very strong DI. I have my way of being cool, and I feel it as though I've honed it to what I like. So for him, he was cringy. But as a number two, I thought that I instantly thought of how, like, of him as a friend and like how we could work together creatively. So I was like, oh my God, he reminds me of like the bar back at the bar I work at. So like, he's my boy. Like, he's a dork. I would make fun of him, but he's my boy. Like, that's exactly what I thought of. Like, and how could we like create videos together, all that. So as a number 2, I'm thinking of, this is my boy, and like we could make things together. Like we could create film, music, videos, whatever. So that's what I took away from Jay. Like, as a number 2, I'm like, what could we create together? So yeah, that's all I had from Jay.
That's great. Did you have anything you wanted to say, Sasha? You're looking at me like,
I had a hard time watching him. I had a really hard time watching him. I think I watched like 2.5 videos, and I'm like, what he's saying isn't important to me at all. Yeah. Like, this is...
That's okay, dork.
I mean, I didn't like not like him.
Yeah.
You know, like I think the coolness, as far as what Magda was saying, was like, he was kind of like friendly for you know, I thought at first he was a 4 because he was so friendly, but
I can see that.
You know what I mean? But I didn't take a long time with him because everything that he said I found not important to me. But that, I feel bad saying that because Magda liked him so much.
Like, I feel it because I do feel like we would be friends, and I would like jokingly make fun of him and be like, oh, is that your rap song? Like, joking. Like,
yeah. Like, I mean, he's so successful. He's doing it. He's doing it. So, I mean, good on him. You know, good for him. Like, he's. It's something that I find cringy, but maybe I should take more seriously because he's very successful. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
He's doing great. Yeah. I think you said that's like exactly. I consumed even less of him because it was just the videos, but I was just like, he's cool. He's doing his thing. It's not really my world. It's nothing that like you and I are more project focused and I mean, everyone, you want to work with him in the entrepreneurial two-way.
Totally. And it's funny to think about it because it's like, you know, we're OE, so I'm going, what a dork. I don't like his music. But then, like, if we started working together, I'd probably gain more respect and be like, okay, I was wrong. I'm the dork. You're right. I always do that. That always happens to me. Yeah. So that's probably how it would end up.
No, and I think that's exactly, then you, like, brought it to friends, and exactly, I'm like, this guy seems like a good guy, he seems like someone that would be cool to be around, but it's not my world. Yeah, it's like, so cool that you're over there. I probably won't, like, I'm not sure if he'll stick in my mind that much. I mean, he is consume, play, blast, double feminine, so probably play around with that a little bit, but yeah, otherwise, but it was a good video.
I think that consume play, the double feminine consume play blast sleep is very noticeable. I don't know how, like what the sensory is of it, but I feel like I always can feel it sort of with, you know, the masculine intuition. Like, I don't know what the patterns are that makes me feel like I always can sense it, but
oh, nice.
I feel something, a little something, but I don't know what it is. You know, it's like our masculine any is like just not grounded in reality. So I'm like, I see that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's cool.
Maybe one day I'll have sensory on it.
Sleep on it.
Yeah. And with that, we know that's never going to happen.
How about if that's our closing tagline?
Sleep on it.
That's our closing tagline. Thank you all for coming.
Oh, shit.
Let's
that is amazing.
sleep on it.
Sleep on it.